The Psychic type is very good in Kanto, maybe even the best type there is. And in FireRed are already several strong Psychic types to get, like Abra, Drowzee, Exeggcute, MrMime and Jynx. I changed some things up, like not using Abra in battle, but not using Jynx either. Instead, I use Slowpoke to finally see it in action. Here are the rules. The early game will be quite easy to do, but the sheer damage in the mid game could be overwhelming. But let's begin. With the universal Pokemon randomizer, I changed Charmander to Slowpoke. There isn't a Psychic type before beating Brock, and with Slowpoke at the start, I think Squirtle will result in the hardest final battle thanks to Bite, Exeggutor and Arcanine. After getting the Pokedex and beating up some wild Pokemon, I tried Rival at Route 22, but I have Yawn and Curse, which increases attack and defense, so this battle is only an issue if Pidgey decides to use sand attacks and Slowpoke doesn't hit anymore. But in this try, Pidgey only used tackles and Squirtle wasn't able to do much if at all. I think Brock might be doable with this kind of strategy, and I try to beat him before level 13, where Slowpoke just learns Water Gun and Brock wouldn't be a big deal anymore. I tried every level and I actually needed level 12 in the end. Using Yawn and then setting up 6 Curse to tank all the damage and swinging back is pretty good. Geodude has defense curl and takes an extraordinary long time to beat, but Onix is easier to deal damage to, but it can deal way more damage as well, considering how Bind works. But I beat them in the end and Brock is defeated. At 13 I learned Water Gun and it would have been a lot easier, but I at least wanted to see if I can do it without. At the end of Mount Moon, I can choose one fossil, and of course there wasn't any choice here. I can't use it anyway, so it doesn't matter. In Celadon City are 2 major battles, and I think the rival is doable, while Misty is not. The rival at Nugget Bridge has a Pidgeotto and the whole battle basically depends on the moves it uses. I only have one Pokemon, so Sand Attack is not only annoying, but could end the battle on the spot. So I just use Yawn and 1 Curse to boost the defense and then spam Confusion until first Pidgeotto and then Rattata goes down. Against Squirtle I use another Yawn and hope it doesn't wake up too early and I can just win from here. Last is Abra and it doesn't have a damaging move, or I would have lost again. The rival is defeated and I gain a lot of experience points now on the way to Bill. The mad scientist build is always funny, creating new humans out of Pokemon. Amazing. In Vermilion City are the usual things to do, like getting the bike coupon. But this time it's a bit different because I can catch a new Pokemon, Drowzee. Of course I fail immediately and use Yawn into Insomnia, but hey, at least I have a new Pokemon in my team. Even though I have a new teammate, I try to solo Misty with just Slowpoke. The part water type helps a lot. First using Yawn and then 2 Curses to boost the attack and defense. Afterwards I can just use Secret Power to KO Misty's team. Staryu survived one, which means I should have used another Curse instead of attacking, but I was very confident the battle is won either way. Starmie also got hit by paralysis. Secret Power is just too good for the early game, I love it. When Misty's done, I received a new badge and can go on the way to the SSN. This worked out so great, I want to use it against the rival again as well. Or at least I have to. If I don't even come close to winning this battle. The issue is the War Turtle. Yes, I didn't expect it to be such an issue either. It has Bite, which is super effective, and it's faster, so getting flinched is a real issue. The only way to win was to use Yawn on Pidgeotto, then use some Curse and hope for the best with Secret Power. But when War Turtle is down, the battle is very easy, since Raticate can't deal a lot of damage against multiple Curses. Besides getting crits of course, and the last Pokemon is Kadabra. I again fell for it and got hit by the Sable. I will never learn. This is just me playing on autopilot basically. Also should have used Yawn afterwards, but whatever. It takes several turns and Kadabra goes down eventually. The rival is defeated and I can move on to the captain, receiving the HM for cut. I go back to Route 24 and catch an Abra here. I won't use it in battle, but I can trade it in for a MrMime. That is very strong. I never used one before as far as I can remember, but this time it's different. Also I realized I didn't need cut to trade, so I could have had MrMime before facing the rival and Misty. Oh well. So anyway, let's have some MrMime action. This is the first try against Lieutenant Surge, and I unknowingly stumbled upon a strategy where this battle was actually not a real battle. Voltorb doesn't matter, but I did get lucky with the confusion. Pikachu on the other hand showed me that Lieutenant Surge has no idea what he is doing. I pressed on Substitute and basically won the battle on the spot. When the HP is high enough, Lieutenant Surge wants to use Thunder Wave to paralyze me. But the Substitute is up, I can't get hit by status moves at all. What does this mean? Lieutenant Surge will now only use Thunder Wave until the PP runs out, and even though Double Team is annoying to deal with, I will hit at some point to KO his team. Raichu is actually the same, just that it never used Double Team in the first place. On the one hand, this is pretty cheap to win, but on the other hand, I didn't know about it and think it's cool that it happened. I'll take it. Lieutenant Surge is defeated and I get to the next badge. Rock Tunnel is always quite an adventure. It is the point to show the next part of the game, and in Lavender Town is a Pokemon Tower where the rival waits for a nice rematch. I have MrMime with Shockwave and Magical Leaf, so the battle should be quite easy. I also remove Substitute because the opponents don't seem to understand how to attack Pokemon with Substitute up. Pidgeotto, Wartortle and Growlithe go down very easily, but Exeggcute is a huge issue. Hypnosis always hitting, Leech Seed refilling HP. I switch around a lot to remove the Leech Seed and hit for some damage if possible. It takes a long time, but I win with most of my team being in the low HP. Last is Kadabra and it can't beat any of my Pokemon, so I just have Drowzee active and switch between Pound and Headbutt because of the Sable. The rival is defeated and I can check out Celadon City. Getting the tea from the old lady and a coin case from the restaurant. I can beat up some trainer in the grass gym, which leads to Drowzee evolving into a Hypno. I can't see how this can go wrong. Hypno is a specialist and I should stop talking about it. The next gym leader is Erika, and of course, nobody thinks this will be a hard battle. I could have made it even easier, but I want to keep the TM for Psychic for the next teammate. Hypno has insomnia, it can't be put to sleep, so I just need to give it a Cherry Berry against Paralysis, and it can just run through the team. Victory Bell and Tangela need 2 hits each, so no big deal. Vileplume is a bit more complicated. Confusion does slightly more than half and Giga Drain gets it out of range. So I use Headbutt instead, but I get the flinch and it was just barely out of range for the Hyper Potion. It worked out perfectly. Erika is done and the next gym is mine. I can now visit our best friend of every run, Giovanni. Deep inside the Celadon game corner waits the head of Team Rocket, the strongest trainer just behind the champion. Maybe. I actually don't know how strong he would be in Kanto. Anyway, this battle might be the most lucky battle I ever had. MrMime has Magical Leaf and destroys Onix in one go, but Kangaskhan is very dangerous. Psybeam, just learned thanks to the level up, not only hits, crits, but confuses as well, and Kangaskhan hits itself not once, but twice, which means it is defeated without doing any moves. One more Magical Leaf against Rhyhorn and the battle is over. Giovanni is defeated, leaves the Silph Co behind, which I actually needed to explore the Pokemon Tower. At the top of Pokemon Tower is the real leader of Team Rocket, Mr. Fuji. When I talked to him about it, he gave me the Pokeflute and said to never speak of it again. I use the flute to wake up Snorlax and travel south to Fuchsia City, where the Safari Zone is. Inside are the good items like HM for Surf and the Golden Teeth. But most importantly, it is home to Exeggcutes, Psychic-type Pokemon, which is perfect for my team. I catch one after a lot of tries. The only relevant move it learns as an Exeggcute is Sleep Powder, but I don't need another sleep user, so I evolve it into Exeggutor immediately. I'm pretty sure it will be one of my strongest team members, but I'll need some more major battles before I can use it. Back on Route 24, again battling wild Abras, but this time I use Thief to steal a Twisted Spoon. That item boosts Psychic type damaging moves, exactly what I need this run. The next gym leader is Koga, specialist in poison types. The worst type you can specialize in against me. I went out of my way to use Exeggutor, heavily underleveled and weak to poison on top, but the only issue could have been Muk, if it decides to use Sludge instead of any other move, but it did not. Coughings went down in one go anyway, and I was a bit surprised that Wheezing fell in one swoop as well. But hey, the battle was clean, nice and easy. Koga is defeated, I can now use Surf outside of battle and I visit the Silph Co for a little chat with my rival. I tried this battle multiple times before and after one small change, the battle was not only doable but heavily in my favor. versus Pidgeot, and I had Shockwave on MrMime, which deals way too few damage points, which leads to MrMime either not beating Pidgeot or I don't deal enough damage to Blastoise afterwards. But with Thunderbolt it's exactly good enough so that Pidgeot goes down and Blastoise either goes down or is low enough that everyone else can beat it. Bite is really nasty, especially if Blastoise outspeeds like against Slowpoke. When both are down, Growlithe comes in, but it isn't dangerous just yet. For some reason, the rival waits until he becomes champion to make Growlithe into Arcanine. MrMime feints against the dog, but Slowpoke can clean it up. Exeggcute is not really dangerous, but can be really annoying, so yawn it is. And then switching out into Hypno for the Thief as damage. I need too much money to have Thunderbolt, Ice Beam and Shadow Ball, so it takes a bit more time, but next time I might be ready. Last is Alakazam, but it doesn't have any real damaging moves, and Hypno's also got a critical hit. Alakazam is done, it's over. The rivals defeated, and it went better with some changes to the team. The second in command, Giovanni, is at the top floor of Silph Co, and I want to have some fun. Slowpoke didn't see a lot of action lately, and I want to change it. Nidorino comes first, and of course Fury Attack hits 5 times. Classic. Confusion crits, and that leaves Nidorino with no choice but to poison with Poison Sting. Sometimes it's quite unlucky. Nidoqueen is next, and I could stay in for some damage, but I just want to be done with it, using Yawn and then switching out into Exeggutor, starting some damage. Slowpoke will see a lot of action later on, I promise. Nidoqueen goes down to 2 Psychics. Kangaskhan is next, and the damage is crazy. But I just try to use Leech Seed in case Exeggutor goes down, but Kangaskhan first missed with Mega Punch and then used Rage for some reason. Anyway, that Pokemon goes down. I should use it for a run, would be amazing. Last is Rhyhorn, and I have Giga Drain, so it goes down without doing anything. Giovanni is defeated and the Silph Co is rescued. I could battle Sabrina next, but I really want to see more Slowpoke first. To enter Blaine's gym, I have to get the secret key from the Pokemon Mansion. I usually skip all the trainers in the gym, but this time I want Slowpoke to KO everyone, to evolve into Slowbro. This upgrade should help against Blaine. He can be really something, and this battle was so tight, it's crazy. Bite is just unfair sometimes. This time it didn't flinch and it was fine. Growlithe goes down in one serve. Arcanine, however, will use Bite and Slowbro goes down to 3 HP, while Surf doesn't KO. I hope it was arranged, because the next one gets a critical hit KO, and it would be really sad if it would never KO otherwise. Ponyta is next and just KOs me. I chose Exeggutor now, because this is the only Pokemon where there's a chance it can do anything at all. It's a crit, but Ponyta is quite weak, so it's fine. Last Rapidash, and it burns down Exeggutor in one hit without any hesitation. Now comes MrMime, because Thunderbolt is about the same damage as Psybeam and can paralyze. I actually get the paralysis off on the last attack right before MrMime goes down. That's all Hypno needed, and one Psychic KOs Rapidash. Blaine is defeated, and it took a bit longer than I expected. But I take the win and move on, because the next gym leader is something special. Sabrina is a Psychic type specialist, and we want to find out who the real Psychic Master is. Unfortunately, I am going to cheat and try to use a move which is not Psychic. Shadow Ball. Hypno is the Pokemon in my team with the highest physical attack, and Shadow Ball is a Ghost type attack, which is physical in this game. Everyone goes down in one hit. Against Venomoth I need to use Psychic instead, and that's totally fine by me. Alakazam hits me with his pathetic Psychic, dealing nearly no damage, just to go down to Shadow Ball in the end. Sabrina is out of Pokemon, and I am the new master of Psychic type Pokemon. Well, not really. The last gym leader is Giovanni, the second strongest Team Rocket member. I don't think anybody would believe me if I said this battle would be hard, because it definitely isn't. I use Slowbro, press and surf, and hope that I survive each move thrown at me, because I am very slow, as the name suggests. Rhyhorn goes down, of course, Dugtrio too, but Earthquake deals a bit of damage, similar to Nidoqueen and Nidoking. I barely survive, and the last Rhyhorn goes down as well. Giovanni is done, and the last badge of the run, which means there are only 6 battles left. The rival on Route 22 is usually very strong and hard to beat, and I thought it won't be possible without leveling up. I went there after a small rest at the Pokemon Center, and let's see how it turns out. First is Pidgeot against my MrMime. I am faster for some reason, and Thunderbolt hits for a lot of damage. Wing attack was very bad, but another bolt and the bird is defeated. Of course, Blastoise is here and I have another Thunderbolt for some damage, but Blastoise's bite is too strong and Mr. Mime goes down. Exeggcute has to deal with it and Rain Dance was used. I hit with Giga Drain, but the damage seems too low. Now comes Bite and oh wow. Exeggcute nearly went KO because of it. Giga Drain is not enough to KO. What is this? Water Gun? Critical hit? Yeah, sure, you got it. Hypno comes in and Water Gun does about half. Rain and the level difference is crazy. Hypno hits and Blastoise finally goes down. Rhyhorn is weak on the special, but Psychic doesn't KO and Horn Drill missed, which was very scary actually. Next is Growlithe, but it can't do a whole lot and Psychic doesn't KO. And Takedown does only a bit of damage. It will change with the champion so much. Exeggcute is part Psychic and thanks to Intimidate, Shadow Ball doesn't deal too much damage. Stun Spore is very annoying, but what can I do? Solar Beam is loaded up and KOs Hypno. I guess the battle is lost and use Slowbro now in hope it can deal enough, but Secret Power needs 2 hits and Stun Spore could be a huge issue. But Exeggcute goes down. Last's Alakazam and Disable was used, which I again forgot about. I changed to Surf, got hit by Disable and just KO Alakazam without a crit? What? Okay, sure, I take it. The rival is done and I can move on to the Elite 4. I decided again for level 45 because my team seems really strong. Way stronger than usual. The Elite 4 itself should be doable, but the champion? I don't think so. But let the battle gauntlet begin. The first Elite 4 member is Lorelei, and I thought this will be quite easy, but it wasn't easy at all. Dugong can tank a lot of damage, but Mr. Mime is packed, and one Thunderbolt crit KOs, but it wasn't a safe KO by any means. Lorelei's ace Lapras can tank even more damage and Thunderbolt doesn't deal half, while Confuse Ray is one of the worst moves. I switch into Slowbro and deal some damage, but I realize it's better to just use Yawn and then switch back into Mr. Mime. For some reason I use Magical Leaf, which doesn't KO and puts it perfectly into full restore range. Sure, why not? I use Thunderbolts now, and while it doesn't deal a lot of damage, Mr. Mime will come out on top and KO Lapras with not a lot of HP left, basically none. Cloyster is very weak to any special attacks and goes down in one go. Slowbro is a bit more tanky, but technically more on the physical side, so Thunderbolt does over half and Mr. Mime goes down. I use Exeggutor next to press on Giga Drain, and Slowbro is down as well. Last is Jynx, and let's be honest, Exeggutor can't do anything here, just going down. I use Hypno now, but Ice Punch deals a huge amount of damage. Shadow Ball does over half, but the next Ice Punch hits and freezes. I was devastated, but I defrost immediately to KO back. That was crazy. Actually, if I hadn't defrosted there, the battle would have been lost, since Slowbro didn't have a lot of HP left, but I won barely. Lorelei is down, and let's check out Bruno. As one can imagine, Bruno has no chance against my Psychic team, 2 of which also have a Grass type attack, and 1 has Surf. I use primarily Mr. Mime now because of special experience. Gaining more level should be beneficial to the champion battle if I manage to get there. As it looks right now, it should be fine, but maybe something comes up which I didn't expect and the battle could turn out pretty bad. Anyway, Bruno is done and the easiest battle in the Elite 4 is over. What I didn't expect is that Bruno was actually a bit harder than Agatha, but I guess if Mr. Mime is faster, the battle is easier. Thankfully I got a plus speed nature which makes it doable at a lower level. Agatha is only Pokemon which are weak to Psychic and Mr. Mime is a big fan of that move. Everyone goes down in one hit? Fascinating. Some teams just don't have the tools needed even if it's only one move. Agatha is out of Pokemon and the last Elite 4 member already waits for me. Lance, the last of the Elite 4, is very interesting. Gyarados is of course not an issue, 1 Thunderbolt and it is gone. Aerodactyl however is way different. Not only does Thunderbolt not KO, but its attacks deal so much damage. I can't even hit back without getting a paralysis off. So it's lights out for Mr. Mime. Slowbro can KO and then some, but Ice Beams don't KO Dragonairs and Slowbro's special defense is quite low, so that Outrage deals too much damage. Because of the lower speed, they can basically do whatever they want before Slowbro gets a chance to hit. Exeggcute can deal very similar levels of damage against Dragonairs and is faster, but can't take mating hits, and Dragonite can just use one wing attack and remove it from the battle. Hypno could potentially win, but I need to hit every single Hypnosis and hope Dragonite never wakes up. But that's obviously not going to happen. I don't think there's much to do. I level up a bit and try again. I started Elite 4 at level 50. In the first 3 battles were as smooth as it could be, but Lance is still here to stand in my way. I start with MrMime against Gyarados, and one Thunderbolt KOs the water flying type easily. Now comes Aerodactyl, and I get a lot of damage again, while Thunderbolt doesn't KO. For some reason I had an Oran Berry equipped. That should have been a Citrus Berry, but it doesn't matter against Aerodactyl's Hyper Beam. I use Slowbro next and can use one Surf in a recharge turn to KO. Next is Dragonair, and Ice Beam hits but doesn't KO. That is really bad actually. I have no choice but to continue hitting into Dragonair, but Outrage hits in the meantime for a good amount of damage before the first Dragonair goes down. The second one used Dragon Rage, which I didn't expect to see here at all, and I get to remove the second full restore and then KO from full HP? I guess I got lucky now, that's good. Lance's Ace Dragonite is a real powerhouse and Slowbro goes down without doing anything. I use Exeggcute next for some damage. Maybe I should have used Stun Spore or Leech Seed instead, but it's too late now, and after a second big hit, Exeggcute goes down. Hypno is my last chance to win here. Psychic does nearly no damage, but Dragonite hits itself to help me getting the win against Dragonite. Lance is defeated, and that battle was actually too close for my taste. Do I need to level up even more before beating the champion? Let's find out. The champion and final boss of the run was horrible to beat. I have a strategy in mind, but a lot has to go right to beat him. First is Pidgeot against MrMime. I use Thunderbolt and it puts Pidgeot into full restore range. I need Sand Attack or Feather Dance to win. In the heal turn I use Calm Mind to boost the special attack high enough to beat Pidgeot with another Bolt. Next is Arcanine, and possibly the biggest issue of the battle. Extreme Speed and Bite are too much for me. I want to hit big into it, and if I can, KO with another move, which I did in this try. Amazing. Now comes Blastoise, and similar issue. Bite just nearly one-shots everything I have. I just want some damage with Thunderbolt before going down. I use Exeggcute next and get hit by a big Hydro Pump. It's even resisted, come on! Giga Drain KOs and I get some HP back. Against Alakazam I try to use Leech Seed. I don't really need Exeggcute anymore, but could use it still later on. I switch into Hypno to use one Shadow Ball for the KO. Without Leech Seed this wouldn't even be enough. Very sad to see actually. Rhydon is a big and nasty boy. I switch into Slowbro, still alive and kicking, to KO it. If MrMime went down against Arcanine, I would lose Slowbro earlier and had to KO with Hypno here. Very dangerous game to play. Last is Exeggcute, and this was really interesting. I could stay in and lose Slowbro or switch into Exeggcute since Giga Drain is always used, and use Stun Spore to slow it down enough so that Slowbro has a chance to KO later. My Exeggcute goes down to Egg Bomb. Slowbro comes back in and Ice Beam should KO, but doesn't. That is horrible. But fortunately Paralysis comes to the rescue. Never thought I'd say that. And another Ice Beam KOs. Exeggcute is down. The former champion is defeated, and I am the new champion of Kanto. The run was a bit easier than usual, but Lance and the champion hold me down real good. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions or advice, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I see you in the next one.